Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, this is my ongoing series to talk about my top 100 fantasy books. We're doing it. It took me 2 years since I first promised it, but we're finally doing it. Today we've got 50 through 41. Number 50. What would possibly make the middle point, the middle of my favorite books of fantasy, my favorite genre? That's going to be The Aeronauts Windlass by Jim Butcher. I absolutely loved this book. The new one's coming out here. I can't wait for it. It is only one book, but I am a huge Jim Butcher fan. I have read the main series of Dresden. I still need to just read one short story collection, Briefcases, and then I'll be all caught up. I've been saving some Dresden for a rainy day, you know? But I just loved Aeronauts Windlass. There's these cat characters that just, I mean, that alone, but that's the one that sticks out of my mind. It's so great. Anyway, if you like steampunk and some cat, like a species of cats that can talk, but also very much acts like cats, it's hilarious. Anyway, absolutely worth it. Next, we've got The Broken Empire by Mark Lawrence. This is one, it did not survive the many moves. I owned all three of them at one point, but did not survive because I read them long enough ago that they didn't survive, but they are just, it's such a good series. Book one is absolutely polarizing. Mark Lawrence went with essentially the Stephen R. Donaldson approach of, we're going to make a character that you really don't like. You're not going to like him at all. But eventually you come to absolutely at least admire him and respect him, even though at first not the best guy to root for, but you can't help it almost. Where it goes from a very short, like packs a punch kind of book to the ending, I just thought was so, it was just well realized, I thought. One of the things I put Mark Lawrence up there with Joe Abercrombie for quotable lines, for kind of nice phrasing, like things that I just want to quote later. I think he does just a great job. So it's excellent prose with a great world that there's more in the world, and so that's what's great too. Then we've got a classic series from my early fantasy readings, but that's going to be the Dark Elf trilogy. Book one being Homeland. My son actually just read these, well, relatively recently. Absolutely is blazed through these and like gotten way ahead of me as usual. But these are just, they're so classic. They're really introspective. It's like not only great characters, great writing, focused, great action, just so much fun, but really actually introspective too about the whole process too. So I really enjoyed it, but that's a great trilogy there. 47, I'm actually going for a classic. This is The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. This is the weirdest book probably on the list. I don't know, there's some weird ones, but this one is so weird, it's so crazy, so Russian, absolutely a blast to read. So many crazy things going on. I don't even know where to begin to describe it, but like the devil just kind of wreaks havoc in Russia, and we follow the master, and you follow all these characters around this like havoc that's being created. Anyway, there's a big black cat and stuff. Anyway, it makes sense, but it's a little crazy and out there, but it's absolutely worth every page. I absolutely loved it. Number 46, I've actually talked about this author pretty recently, but that's going to be Angel Maker by Nick Harkaway. I absolutely love this. It's kind of, I'm fitting it into fantasy because it's kind of in the way that Aeronauts Windlass, it's steampunk, I guess, but at the same time, I kind of consider it more fantasy than science fiction. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it is kind of old-timeier, set in the past to some degree, which isn't typically science fiction. Nick Harkaway is just one of my favorite authors for prose, for humor. The humor just really sticks out with this one. It's hilarious at times, and I just love it, especially mixed with gorgeous prose. You got a fan in me, easy, anytime. All right, number 45, this is going to be The River King's Road by Leanne Merciel. Didn't see a lot of this one. It didn't get the love I think that it deserved. Absolutely love this one, and probably even more so the sequel, Heaven's Needle. Problem is, it was supposed to be more books, but this is all we got is these two. Merciel went on to and has authored some Pathfinder books and stuff like that. But I felt like this is such a good series, especially Heaven's Needle, the sequel to The River King's Road. So this is the Ithalus series. It showed me, this is where I kind of discovered, I was like, ooh, I think I like horror. There's some horror elements to the fantasy that I really like, that I totally would still read if I were you, even though there's only the two, just at least knowing that you're not going to get a full resolution to things. But maybe we can petition the author to finish it or something, or do a Kickstarter. But anyway, get enough of us together, it'll happen, right? But anyway, I absolutely really enjoyed this series. All right, 44. This is just a series that it's not just based solely on the covers, even though I love them. But this is going to be the Powder Mage trilogy. I absolutely just love and adore these books. I mean, how awesome is that? And then Broken Binding is doing a version with the sprayed edges. But anyway, I just love the covers, first of all. But I just had a blast, with the magic system. Powder does some kind of magic to some certain people, and they can, direct their shots better with shooting stuff, or they just have heightened senses, all kinds of things. That's just the beginning. McClellan is a contemporary of Brandon Sanderson, was a student of his, and has gotten some good promotion from Sanderson, but is his own author. And I really thought, I liked the characters in it, just Taniel, Temis, there's just some great characters in it, and I love it. I just absolutely just had this flintlock fantasy. It's a thing, and it's great. For number 43, we got the Sundering Duology. So just two books. This is by Jacqueline Carey, Banewrecker, Godslayer. This is essentially what if Lord of the Rings was told from the bad guy's perspective, and they actually have some good reasoning to why they functioned that way, and maybe more of like the Silmarillion were done from the bad guy's perspective. I don't know, somewhere in between there. Excellent, just really good prose. Carrie's just amazing with prose, but just really thought that this was, I think it was a really good, like when I was jonesing for some more Lord of the Rings, this really hit that spot. Now at the same time, I say that, they don't use like elves and those types of things, but you can tell what's what. It's pretty clear. Number 42, we've got Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's excellent, it's magical, it's so creative. I just absolutely love it. You know. Diana Wynne Jones is just one of those authors I put on like the level with like Neil Gaiman. Just has this like magical way of writing and creating these worlds that you're kind of filled with magic in every part of it, everything that you're doing. And even down to literally the lyrical words. Absolutely love it. All right, then finally, for this one, number 41, Jeff Salyard's Bloodsounder's Arc. This is one that's so underrated. It's just criminal almost. I absolutely love this series. It's on the grim, dark level of fantasy. It's hard stuff. It's these, unlikable characters that do hard things. But man, and they're up against the odds and everything, but it's just... I put it up there. It's so good with the Abercrombies and Mark Lawrence's up there in like grittiness, not necessarily like the prose of those two, but I cannot recommend this enough. And I wish Salyard's had more books out, because I would absolutely read it in a heartbeat. Just such a good author. So that is books 50 through 41. Hopefully you're still enjoying, you're still on board with this. These are I had to make a decision at some point. It's been fun to just kind of put it together and have some fun with it. And I've read, hundreds. My son was like, "You've read 100 fantasy books?" I was like, I've read hundreds I think almost 1,000 actually at this point. So we've got plenty to choose from. And this has been really fun to make. So anyway, just wait for next week for books 40 through 31. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.